Shawty keep wanna come round, she wanna get hit.
She thinks she done made me, can I get her by my side? Double up, bust on her watch, she know that I'm timeless.
I put my son in some red. I pull that gun off the hip. Pockets on 22 clip. I'll break her up, come on, go so. Put on a shirt, get put on a blick. Feel like a stain, get ready to lit. I had to tell her that other sis, I was a dick. No, I was a shit. She singing my songs, she wanna dial it. Tryna get hit, I take a bait. Deposit it big, positive check. Smile on my face, ain't paying shit. Come and get checked, ice on my neck. Double her wrist, she in the sky. Hell of a cat, push her to church. 400 packs.
Yeah, I spend it in Paris. Just for these hoes, they finna flock. Just for fun, it's all they pop. Them just finna hit, I'm feeling hip. I'm rusting it all on my viewers. I
Feel like the rock.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been legit. If I was you, I would cut up my wrist. Exotic all over her body, oh. She just wanna roll and I don't mind it, yeah. Ever since I was a G, I've been legit. Now, you should let her go, she wanna be it. Double O tatted on her body, yeah. It don't matter what they say, I'm timeless, yeah. City on fire, when I'm coming home. Fill up the sky, I fill up the dome. They'll play one day, it's a hell of a show. But it's gonna hurt, cause we did it first. Feel like skateboard beat, BBC boys on the creep. Feel like it's 03, Neptune drum with a beat. She hit me flipping a beat, she wanna fuck with the team. She fell in love with the green, she fell in love with the scene. Oh yeah, her man quiet, not a peep. Broke his heart, PTSD. Hold his chest, let it breathe, let it breathe. Nigga scheming, I got a priest, he got a cross. Get out of line, send him to God. I shed a tear, pray for her lows, oh yeah.
Today, we're going to talk about the college football playoffs, the loaded college basketball slate, and the first squad ride of 2025. This is Behind the Lines. Cooper Kupp might be washed. 4 targets, no catches. The guy ran a half a marathon. I've seen 20 tweets about it this morning. The guy didn't do a single thing.
Yeah, that was a frustrating bagel for a lot of fantasy owners.
Is this what we've become down in Blacksburg? Just complacent, happy to be going about our day and being a moose shit program, celebrating a kid getting 1 point against North Carolina A&T? He better fucking score a point. You're playing North Carolina A&T. He's leading college football, Jovan, in every single statistical category for a wide receiver. Every single one. And you don't give that guy the award? Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. At the end of the day, you got to reward teams for winning fucking games. And if they're in a power conference, they're in a power conference. I'm tired of this big dick swinging contest between the SEC, Big 12, Big 10, and ACC. At the end of the day, you got to fucking reward winning. What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Thursday, episode 609. Peace. As always, hold the fry. Joined by your 2 hosts, Krabs and Jovan, presented by Bookit Sports. If you're not tracking your bets on Bookit, what are you doing? Start tracking your bets in the new year, the big 2025, over there on Bookit Sports. They do all the work for you. You sync up your books. They track all your bets. Bada bing, bada boom. You know how many units you're up or down. It's that simple. Okay, go use Bookit. Download the app on the App Store, Google Play. Promo code BTL, promo code Jovan, promo code Chelly, promo code whatever, and start tracking your bets. That's all I really care about. Hold yourself accountable and know how many units you're up or down. Okay? Jovan, happy Thursday. Unfortunately, yes, the game did get postponed like we were talking about, so no squad ride, but we'll get back on the saddle and we'll fire up one for today. How we feeling heading into Thursday night?
Great. We're bringing the Sugar Bowl into the Big 2-5, and we're bringing Bookit into the Big 2-5 as well. So I'm excited.
Of course. We got a hype train moving and grooving. Sure. Written by Zach coming in resubbing. Love to see that. We got Heavy's Bets coming in resubbing. Brian C2424 coming in resubbing. The Goats. He's been subbed up for 1 year. W. Brian, we appreciate you, my man. Hype train is moving and grooving. Chat, yeah, somebody said it earlier. If you took Oregon, delete your book. Yeah, Oregon not the best play. I hope you guys took Ohio State's. I mean, 2 good games in a row from Will Howard's, and the guy couldn't even get up on the stage. during the celebration. That was one of the funniest videos of all time.
That was hilarious. I saw that.
What are we doing? That was the most ridiculous thing ever. Rav coming in resubbing, making himself useful. Let's go, Rav. Sure we can. Want to shout out Rav and Lauren once again for the great content, the great vids, and Nick as well. At that game yesterday, might have been the game of the year already. And one day into 2025, we got the game of the year. That was an unbelievable contest. Yeah, a great boots on ground Battle Berg. Shout out LC, shout out Rav for the really good content on the Bookit socials. Good work, squad. Ball at 22 coming in, resubbing as well. Happy New Year. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We appreciate you. W subbies coming in at the beginning of BTL today. We got SBR coming in, giving out 5 subbies.
Wow.
Let's go,
taking
SBR.
SBR into the big 2-5.
SBR, SBR is coming with us. Come on. W's. SBR, bro, we appreciate you. Let me know what you're on today. Looks like Jovan's meat just got blessed up with a subby from SBR. Love to see it. Okay. Insane name.
Krabs.
Any comments?
I have no comments.
No comments. You'll let that one go? Okay. All right. We'll move. We'll groove. All right. Happy Thursday, guys. It's almost the weekend. Excited to dive into this great college basketball slate. Not too many ranked matchups or even ranked teams playing, Jovan, but if you're a college basketball fan looking at this slate today, you got to be bricked up. You got to be excited. We got over 60 games today, and there's a ton of spreads that are within a couple points, a ton of close games expected today. I'm excited to dive into it with Jovan and go over all these games, all these angles we got. And Jovan, every time I try to move on to the next segment, I see the freaking hype train moving and grooving from all the subs coming in. We got Chaco coming in, resubbing again. Let's go, Chaco. Sure we can. We got Noda Crancher coming in, resubbing as well. Hype train level 4. Love to see it. W, guys. Awesome. Yeah, reading through chat right now, making sure I'm not missing anything. Looks like we're in a good spot here. Okay. Sharp report recaps. Can we take a peep at that from yesterday and see how we did? Still got a couple plays here pending. Jovan, you've got Notre Dame on the ML. I've got the under in this game today. Should be a good look since everybody on Earth has locked it in. Ohio State and Louisville were great plays yesterday, though. So we smacked those. Jovan, Oregon was never the side. Any comments there?
I mean, just bad wagers. I don't know if I've ever been on the wrong side of multiple games on the books and on the right side of every square involving the game. That was really, really, really weird. Figured, I mean, it definitely helped that I guess both games went over, but that was odd.
Sure. Great call on Golden. Finding pay dirt.
Yeah, he was Megatron.
He was unbelievable in that game. Unbelievable. Excited to hear what squares are crafting up for these 2 bowl games today. We'll talk about it. We got 1 playoff game. We got 1 bowl game. Jovan, I'm sure you got some angles in both of those, and I'm sure Chad is excited to hear them. Let's keep moving and grooving, okay? Because before we get into some of those winners, I do want to bitch about something. I know it's the new year. I'm trying to stay positive, but there's one thing on my mind, Jovan, that I saw earlier today that I can't stop thinking about. It just keeps pissing me off. Do you mind if I bitch about it for a minute?
Get after it.
Gootsy, run that shit. Oh, looks like Bud Foster's making his way back to Blacksburg, Jovan. You probably didn't see this because you're not tapped into Hokies Twitter. You probably weren't expecting this today. Hey, the Hokie season is still, we're smack dab in the middle of it right now. We got the Mayo Bowl tomorrow. Okay, so don't get too excited. The Hokie season has not ended yet. And Jovan, this one actually pisses me the hell off. Okay, so I need to take a breath here for a second. Imagine if Coach Shire down there at Duke, the college basketball coach, imagine if he called up Coach K and said, hey, Coach K, I need you to come back and be my assistant.
That would be weird.
Would that ever happen? No.
That would be really, really odd.
That'd be weird as shit, wouldn't it? Yeah. Imagine if Hubert Davis down there at UNC called up Roy Williams and said, hey, buddy, get out of the stands. I know you're already at every game, but I need you on the sidelines. You're my assistant coach. That'd be kind of weird, wouldn't it? Right? Asking for help from a former legend of the program that built it up, worked their butts off. They brought and invented the lunch pail defense, the mentality that you got to have down there in Blacksburg, blue collar. Imagine calling on him saying, hey, buddy, I need help. And imagine that being the case, Jovan, when you come over to take over a program and you're the defensive coordinator of Penn State and your middle name's supposed to be defense you're supposed to carry on the defensive tenacity on that side of the ball, Jovan, down there in Blacksburg, and you can't even do it. You can't even do it. The defense is a joke. So you got to call back in Bud Foster out of retirement. Bless his heart. You got to get the guy off his fucking lazy boy chair that he very much deserves to sit in at this point of his career, right? The guy is a major factor why Virginia Tech football has been great over the last 30 years. Great coach. We got to pull him out of retirement because the coach we have now isn't good enough? I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. This is a disgrace. Brent Pry, you are the defensive coordinator of Penn State, former. You coach Micah Parsons. You're supposed to know that side of the ball, and you can't even do it. You got to call in a favor. You got to call in big and bad Bud Foster back into Blacksburg to go work. Are you fucking kidding me? This is the problem, man. This stuff doesn't happen in other programs. It simply doesn't. Okay, it doesn't happen in good programs, that's for sure. This is absurd. Let the guy rest.
Conversations, Krabs, about leaving the Hokies in 2024.
Let the guy rest. Why are we bringing him back? Because we can't do our job, so you got to call in a guy who could. If you can't do it yourself, then you shouldn't be the head coach of the team. If you have to call in a former legend to help you out and figure out the defense, you probably shouldn't be the head coach. This is absurd. Get him out of Blacksburg, man. Brent Pry.
Where would losing by double digits in the Mayo Bowl rank in the Hokies piss rankings?
The only reason I'm not shit nuking Minnesota -9 tomorrow in the Duke's Mayo Bowl is because of the respect I have for Bud Foster. And I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe if he's up there in the booth, the defense will give a hoot and they'll show up and they'll do something good for once, right? Because at least that guy knows defense. That guy knows how to work. Unbelievable. And they're saying, oh, we're still trying to look and find our new defensive coordinator. Yeah, sure. Bringing back Bud Foster to take over and be the DC for this bowl game. That should help people want to come in and be the new DC, right? It's not like you got Bud Foster hovering over, ready to take over at a moment's notice. What the fuck are we doing? This is the opposite of what you're doing to rebuild and figure out your defense. Bringing in a former legend to take over back at DC. What the fuck? This doesn't happen at other schools. This has never happened ever. Jovan, am I tripping? Am I overreacting here? Is this the weirdest thing you've ever seen?
It's definitely odd. I was just trying to think, like, what if, I guess they didn't end on the same terms, but I'm trying to think of if, like, Sonny Dykes invited Gary Patterson back to help out. That would be really, really odd.
Yeah,
the weirdest thing ever.
I heard Lou Holtz coming back to call the offense today.
Yeah, that'd be like when Brian Kelly was at Notre Dame. He calls in Charlie Weiss.
Yep.
Says, hey, buddy, you want to run my offense? What are we doing?
Yeah, might have to leave the Hokies in the Big 2-4.
I've never seen something like this before. This has never happened in sports. This is a first, and you don't get first very often. Gosh, man, you got to call in Bud off his lazy boy to help out? Give me a break. The only reason I'm not shit nuking Minnesota is because that guy's going to be in the booth tomorrow. Unbelievable. In the Duke's Mayo Bowl. What a joke. Let's move on. Let's talk about some winners for today. Okay? I'm not bitching about Brent Pry being a terrible head coach. And he should be fired. If I was the athletic director, he would have already been canned. Jovan, how many times have you seen this under on the feet today?
A ridiculous amount.
Billion?
Yeah. A lot.
Not ideal, right? Yesterday, nobody was on this. Nobody wanted this. Maybe because there's other games on. I don't know. Today, everybody and their mother is on this under. I don't know why, but I'm still riding with it. It is what it is. Taking the under in this, standalone college football playoff game today because I think the lights will be a little bit too bright for the Irish on offense, who've looked good so far. And for Georgia, with their backup QB, not expecting them to put up, a crazy number on offense in this one either. And I think Georgia's defense, they've been lacking all season. I think they actually stand up and they absolutely stack the box and they try to remove Jeremiah Love from this game. And sure, your guy Riley Leonard's going to get his on the ground. Don't get me wrong. But I do think they sell out and try to slow down Jeremiah Love and make Riley Leonard win this game through the air. And I don't know if it's going to work great. I really don't. And I don't think Georgia's offense is going to look great against the Irish defense that I think is one of the better defenses in college football. Their defense is great. I'm taking the under in this game. I'm sticking with it. I don't care how many people on Twitter are on it. Take it.
Yeah, that's fair. I did. Just from rolling out of bed, scrolling on the feed, I've accepted that the Irish are scoring 40. So that's what I'll be rooting for. Maybe it's 41-0. We'll be good. But
Well,
I'll be down for that.
All right. If that's the case, that's the case. We'll take a cash. But that would be crazy if it plays out like that. We got Paul Mack coming in, resubbing. Bang. Happy New Year, fellas. In chat, let's muck all 2025. Yes, sir, Paul Mack. We appreciate you, my man. Hype train moving and grooving. Possible overtime game. King Dre's asking in chat. You seen overtime in this one?
I wouldn't be shocked. That would be an interesting way for the under to cake.
That would suck.
What would it take? 20?
If I end up feeling like Rav today with overtime, I don't know if I'll be able to show up tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be beef.
To the chip, he says. Yeah, well, we know Jovan's got a future locked in for that. I think you can agree with Mook there with the resub. W's.
That wasn't just me? That wasn't just me? I thought that was me. Yeah, you're in Martian Central. You're back now, though.
Okay.
Oh, now he's gone. Krabs, Mars, drone strikes.
Kyron drones?
Kyron drone strikes. Good God.
Come on, Gootsy. Bring me back in. Bring me back in now, Gootsy.
Back on the island.
Spawn me back in, Gootsy.
There you go. There you go.
Okay. Chat, we alive? No more Kyron drone strikes?
Hokies got you.
Hokies got me. That might have been Brent Pride taking me out right there. God, Brent Pride, fuck you, man. Unbelievable. Yeah, Jovan, I don't want to interrupt. What were you saying before I got cut out and taken by Martians?
Couldn't really tell you, to be honest, Krabs. But
why don't we move on to your Notre Dame play here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't need to rehash it too much because I think we talked about this game plenty yesterday when it was supposed to happen or going to happen. But yeah, I think Riley Leonard and his feet are a problem for that Georgia defense that's been getting drilled by mobile quarterbacks all season long. So he's like the key. Whenever they have design runs for Riley Leonard, that really opens up the offense. You didn't really need to see that against Indiana in round 1 of the playoff because, I mean, they were up a couple of touchdowns, plus the Indiana secondary is kind of the point where you wanted to attack them there. So Jeremiah Love opened it with that big run, and then he was pretty good through the air when he needed to be in that game. This is very different. So I think the game plan works in their favor, both of the offense and the weaknesses of the Georgia defense. And regardless of what we get from a Gunnar Stockton making his first start against the damn tough Notre Dame defense, I don't think it's enough. So, yeah, taking the Irish still.
Okay. I'll say what I said yesterday. I think it scares me a little bit with how popular the Irish are, but you're not going to see me with the Georgia ticket. You're not going to see me complaining about it. We'll move. I'll be on that under, and we'll see how it goes with the rest of the 8 billion people on Earth. Okay? You got a play on the ice here that you like? Because I got one too, but I want to hear your over before we get to mine.
I like this Sabres Avs over, which
I
guess kind of on paper would look like one of the easiest plays on the board. But I know last time they played was the time that really started like the Sabres. They're bad all season. They've been terrible for the entirety of it. But the first time they played not too long ago, I think this was the game the Sabres went up 4-0 in the first period, ended up losing the game. So a lot of goals in that game. There's a lot of goals in all these games that both teams are involved in. But the Avs have been playing lights out for really a couple weeks now since they've started getting healthier. I know they're going to be a bit slightly less healthy today because I think Nichusen's going to be out, but they've won 5 in a row. They're hosting the Sabres at home. Sabres have been the Sabres, but they've looked actually kind of good recently. They won 3 in a row, and then they just dropped one, I believe. So now everything lining up in their favor. You got a slightly shorthanded Avs team that's going to be ripping pucks, super aggressive on the Avs, or super aggressive on the Sabres because that's how you beat them. This is like the perfect scenario for the Sabres to open up the scoring and do exactly what they did last game, where they come out super aggressive early on the road. They catch the Avs on their back feet, and then they make the Avs chase the game, and we get goals. So, like, I think the Sabres are going to do what the Sabres do, and what they did in that first game, come out aggressive early and then end up blowing it late and make the Avs be a little more aggressive, and that would be only even better for this game script. So I'm seeing goals here. This is the Avs have been really, really good on the defensive end, but they're going to be a little shorthanded today. Not so much on the defensive end, but it's going to kind of change the structure of their whole team. So I think they'll be a little exposed and maybe open it up for the Sabres early, but we'll probably end up scoring 5 goals in the second period, and the Sabres are going to be the Sabres.
We got Big Matty Mark coming in, resubbing. First off, W games tonight. What a day for some winners, boys. W New Year. W Matty Mark coming in, resubbing. And W over on the ice, Jovan. Love both those things. Subbies and overs on the ice. Although I'm about to talk about an under on the ice here in a second. I could definitely get behind some goals and some points in Sabres Avs. 100%. I'm in.
Sure.
Can we pivot to my play here? I got another play on the ice. Get it over with, and then we can go back to yours. Let me get the under in this game on the ice. A no fun under between Carolina and Florida. Jovan, hear me out. Let me know what you think about this puppy. But I saw this total at 6 last night, 6.5 some places on the look ahead, but I never saw it myself on the books at 6.5. I just saw the look ahead line there. But at least at 6. Now we're seeing this down to 5.5 in most places, which I thought was kind of weird considering Carolina's middle name right now is over. The last month or so, they've been an over machine. They've hit 4 straight overs in a row. They've been putting up goals and they've been letting up goals, right? And honestly, it's been more of the latter there. They've been letting up plenty of goals. And I think you'll see that again against Florida here in this spot. Potentially here, the opposite after we've seen a bazillion overs, Jovan. I think we get an under in a no fun game. After a bazillion overs in a row, 4 in a row from Carolina, and Florida comes in off an over as well, a 5-3 game against the Rangers. I think we get a low-scoring affair. And looking at the prize picks boards, I've got a square on my mind, Jovan, that we're going to talk about in a moment, but I might as well bring up now. I've got a square that I'm looking at that's still up there. Sergei Bobrovsky, 2.5 goals allowed after giving up 3 in each of his last 2 games. But we know Bob is better than this. And Bob's going to lock in here towards the middle of the season or towards the end of the season. I want the under in this game, Jovan, after a bunch of overs from both these teams, especially Carolina. I think we see a good old-fashioned playoff type atmosphere between both of these playoff teams in Carolina and Florida. And it's going to be a very low-scoring affair here. And I'll back that Bobrovsky less than 2.5 goals allowed square on prize picks as well, which is a great sign for the under, in my opinion. Great sign.
Yeah. I like that play. And like Big Rob's saying, I know he knows the Canes have been really bad on the road recently, all season, but especially as of late. So it's funny because the same situation, a little different teams happened. But you remember that Oilers game that we took the Canes a little bit ago? They were coming off of back-to-back shutouts, and then they scored 6 goals and won the game in crazy fashion. So they just kind of did that again, where they were coming off of back-to-back shutouts against the Lightning and against the Habs. Then they just had their game against the Panthers, or against the Rangers. Sorry, that was 5-3. They scored a lot of goals, sort of over. The Rangers suck, whatever it is. But then right after that, their game did go over when they played the Wild the first time after that Oilers game. But it was because Marc-Andre Fleury was in that. It was 6-1. Bobrovsky was fantastic in that game. So I think just like that spot, this is a similar bounce-back spot that you can lean into, especially being you're going to be a little bit more of a physical game than I guess the Wild when they were chasing the game down early with Fleury and net. So I'm definitely in for that under, definitely in for that square. I think that looks good.
Okay. Yeah, Fruity saying in chat, Panthers scored 6 on the Canes both times they played this year. Music to my freaking ears, Fruity. Love that.
You got a 5.5.
Love that. Good. Yeah. I saw it at 6 most places earlier this morning. Now I'm seeing most places have it at 5.5. What I think about CLV, I'd say FCLV, and I like seeing a line continuing to move. So I'll be on the under 5.5. I've not locked it in yet. So if you can get 6, great. If not, I think this is going to be like a 1-0, 2-1 type game. Playoff type atmosphere. I talk about that a lot in baseball when teams are facing off and taking unders, but it plays in hockey as well.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I've been noticing, at least as of late, whether these kind of weird games are moving 5.5 to 6 or the other way around in this case have been mattering quite a bit. So like where you're at there.
You think it's a good sign then? It's moving down from 6 to 5.5.
Yeah.
Good. All right. And on the Liquors and Chats tail and G unit. Those are 2 things we know. Good.
Got to.
Unbelievable.
I saw he's got a Twitch show or Twitch stream up and moving.
Let's go. Shout out G units.
Saw that scrolling the feed the other day.
Good. And yes, Chaco, good call. Goots does just hate the Terps. And that was 100% him responding to Huskies there. I could confirm without him telling me. Goots, it's not very Maryland-like of you to hate the Terps, man. It's a very contrarian take, which I appreciate. Number Juan DeGen coming in, resubbing for 22 months. Let's go, Juan. Sure we can, Beast. Attaboy. And yeah, Goots, he's more of a goals guy, right? Seagulls. W's. Row UCO coming in, dropping a follow as well. Love to see that, guys. We're live on YouTube as well. If you want to drop a subby over there, it is free. Okay, and there are no ads. So if you want to watch on YouTube, feel free. Just make sure you're subbed up and have the notice turned on as well. Okay, dubs. Let's keep moving and grooving here, Jovan. Before we go back to your plays, I think you'll have one more. Can I go over my CBB play here?
Sure.
Hope you like Minnesota today because I'm fading Purdue. Something kind of like I talked about with UConn yesterday, although they ended up looking like the greatest team on earth. Something feels off about this Purdue team, just like it does with this UConn team this season. It does not seem like the same big and bad Purdue squad, and that's not a hot take at all. I mean, they lose Zach Edey, and obviously they're going to have to figure out where to put some of that production from the new guys. But they've lost 3 of their last 5 games, Jovan, and sure, they bounced back, and they got a win in their last game against Toledo, but that's freaking Toledo. Before that, they got spanked by Auburn. They lost to Texas A&M, who I don't even think is that good this season, and they've lost to Penn State of late as well. This is not your Mima and Peepaw's Purdue Boilermakers team, at least not right now. Coach Painter has some work to do, right? Towards the end of the season, I'm sure Purdue will be looking great. And Braden Smith will be taking this team, at least, a couple rounds into March Madness, but not tonight. And Minnesota at home, typically a freaking wagon. And tonight, coming off of, not covering a game in the last month, Jovan, and Minnesota right now is 1-10-2 against the spread this season. They've covered 1 game this entire year. They covered tonight at home against Purdue. This is my favorite play tonight. It's going to be Dawson Garcia legacy game. I don't care if he's got a green dot square on Prize Picks. There's a couple other guys up there as well that I'm liking. Cough, cough, Lucille Patterson, who I think is going to ball and hit 2 threes and go over as more than 9.5 points as well. They got some bodies. They got Mitchell coming over from Pepperdine as well. Pretty good guards on that squad. Jovan, Minnesota's got enough. And Purdue is not the same big and bad squads. The Gophers cover for the second time this season. And I think they win outright at home against Purdue tonight. I'll have a sprinkle on the ML. But I love the points. Plus 5.5 for Minnesota here against Purdue. My favorite play tonight.
Yeah, I won't say anything negatively against that. I mean, you did make me throw up in my mouth a little bit when you said we're relying on a Dawson Garcia legacy game, but I might have to get involved with you.
Before you puke anymore, take a peep at how he's been playing. He's been doing job.
Has he been doing job? Yeah, I guess he's been pretty solid.
He's been playing great.
We'll see if he's good tonight when the lights are brightest. Who's he gonna be on? TKR, great. I would assume.
Yeah, probably.
Dude,
that should go well.
TKR, at least on the other side of the court, is gonna eat him for breakfast, but we'll see. That could be what it takes. I think this was the same line that they were at when they were playing Michigan State too, because I remember they're sharp at home. I think it was their first Big Ten game. They got their shit pumped. So maybe the fact that ranked Purdue is sitting at the same line, it's probably a little telling.
Yep. Spreads down from plus 7.5 to plus 5.5 with not a single bet on Minnesota. That should be a good look. See how it goes.
Sure.
Love the Gophers tonight. And yeah, Snacks, you're not wrong. Minnesota is terrible. Okay, they are. But terrible teams cover. And terrible teams, shit, they even win a time or two. I think tonight's one of those spots. I think the Gophers win this game outright. If you're looking to get cute, you could take them on the ML for a sprink. But take the spread, please, tonight, guys, on the Gophers. They're keeping this game within 2 buckets. Okay?
Gophers. You going to play the Gophers 2-piece? Today and tomorrow is the Mayo Bowl?
I mean, shit, dude.
Saturday?
You might as well. You might as well throw in the Gophers on the gridiron minus 1,000 and just juice it up a little bit. Yeah, you might as well. You might as well. We got Snacks coming in, giving out some subbies. Or no, Snacks getting blessed up with a subby from Flatwoods Fella. Let's go, Flatwoods. Sure we can. Good to see you again. You were in here yesterday, bro. Thanks for the subby. Look at West Virginia against Kansas the other day. Lol. Underdogs can get the dub. You're goddamn right. That was a crazy game as well.
Big 12 underdogs this year are going to print because that conference is literally chaos.
Yeah. You're not wrong. She was plus 800 for them to win. That's nuts. OG Sour. I'm so pissed I didn't fucking play West Virginia, man. That spread looked short to me on the road. It looked short, and I didn't play it. I'm soft. Coach DeVries has that WU team back and in a pretty good spot already, right? It helps when you bring over your star kid who's going to be in the NBA, good. But they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
So good.
Yeah, he's a good coach. He brought over a couple guys from that team as well. Juiced Crane coming in, dropping a resub. Bang! Let's go, Juiced Crane. Atta boy. And yeah, Big Rob, do not get too excited. But yes, the Mayo Bowl is tomorrow. Good. The Mayo Bowl is tomorrow. Yeah, you might as well take a Minnesota toothpaste and get the odds from minus 110 to plus 110. Fuck it. They're not losing that game. No chance. Pop Watson's playing QB. The only two guys who didn't hit the portal are QBs, Pop Watson and Kyron Drones. Everybody else is gone.
Team's completed. Thanks for playing.
Thanks for playing. Thanks for showing up. We don't even deserve the Mayo Bowl. Put Duke in it. Can't believe I'm saying that. We don't deserve it.
They're getting active tonight, though, Krabs. I got to play in that game.
What do you got? Perfect segue here. You got to play in the Duke game.
Yeah. Speaking of unders, I've seen a lot today. This is also one of them. And this was, I guess, prior to today because you have Ole Miss. You're like, I'd still probably lean their way, but not as confidently as I once did after looking at this game a little deeper because on the surface, you see no Malik Murphy for Duke among a couple other guys. So they're starting Henry Beelan at quarterback today. So you see a guy who's taken, I've seen the same exact phrasing that he's taken one pass attempt and completed a pass all season. So obviously super inexperienced, super young, super raw. Going up against an Ole Miss team that all you hear is Lane Kiffin yapping about every other SEC team or every other big team playing any smaller team on Twitter in the playoff or in any of these big bowl games or anything. He can't shut up. So first, from his perspective, if I'm going out and I get a chance to prove something with my offense, my nearly fully strength team in a bowl game against a team that I'm 17-point favorites against, you think he ain't slinging the rock? Absolutely. He's going to be going for deep shots every single point he can. Duke defense is still pretty good, but not enough against this offense specifically. So I think they're going to get their fair share of explosiveness. But Henry Beelan has a little, I know I haven't gotten to see him all that much. Nobody really has, but from the little bit that I've gotten to watch of him, it's got a little Anthony Richardson in this game. Okay. He's he's a bigger physical runner. He's a little inconsistent accuracy wise, but he will take some shots. He's got arm talent out the ass. So like, even if Duke is bottled up for a majority of this game against a good defense, he's going to take his shots. So I feel like even when they're down in this game, there's going to be shots taken on both of the sides, especially from Beelan, because like that's what he's done in the few little game action that he's had. So I think regardless, again, he's going to be opening it up against this defense a lot at really any point that he gets. And he's a unique guy that they also don't really know how to defend just yet because he's a guy you can take off and run. He's a guy that'll run your linebackers over because he's big and he's physical, and he'll be a little inconsistent at times. And you know what that could lead to if he's really, really bad, just like Anthony Richardson. Terrible drives, short drives, and points to the other team if he ends up throwing them to him, just like AR does all the time. So taking this over, kind of against the grain because nobody seems to think that Duke can score a single point.
Definitely against the grain. I thought about taking Duke myself. I still might, although I might just tell this over now. I think Duke puts up some points. I do. It's a tryout for this kid as well, right? I mean, look, he might enter the portal after this. Who knows? He might be looking for somewhere else to go and start.
I don't know what his situation is going to be because I think he's in the portal, but I don't know if he's like committed to fully leaving either way.
Yeah.
Haven't seen anything on that.
They obviously spent a ton of coins getting Mensa to come over from Tulane, right? So he knows he won't be starting next year. That'll be Mensa's job. Yeah. So I'm sure he'll be going somewhere else. I'm sure he's already in the portal, but it's a tryout for him, and we'll see how it goes. I think they put up some points as well. I think they cover this number, and like Chat's saying, I would absolutely love to fade Coach. Talking so much shit this morning on the feed, Coach Kiffin. I think that's just absolutely absurd, and I would love to take Duke in this game to cover. Maybe I should just go with the over anyway, so I'm not just being biased and wanting to fade Coach Kiffin, but I could see some points in this one from both sides. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Duke, the way people are acting, it's like Duke shouldn't get off the bus.
I know. Right? I feel like at some point there's got to be like a play or two, maybe to start the game. Like Duke goes up with the first touchdown, and then Twitter goes nuts chirping.
Might be the football
Lane
gods.
Kiffin, as they should be. The football gods, after all he's done on Twitter in this playoffs, there's got to be something coming for him.
Yeah, he needs to be held responsible for his actions. Football gods, They don't like tweets pregame. They don't. They want you to put the phones down, lock in. So I would not be shocked. Maybe Duke to score first at plus $1 million in this game could be good luck. Right?
That would be hilarious.
Yeah. All right. I like the play. Points. Beef Stewski, I do like that play from Jovan. I like all these plays up here. My favorite play from him on the board here has got to be the over on the ice. I feel like that sell job was great. Do not want to let that play get swept today. It's a great looking over on the ice. But I like points in that Duke Ole Miss game, and I do think the Irish pull it out. I'm just nervous. I'm scared. We'll see how it plays out, though. Okay. Prize Pick squares. Want to talk about some PP squares? Already went over the Sergei Bobrovsky one. Jovan is less than 2.5 goals allowed on the ice for Florida. Already kind of sold that one, but I might have to spend some time selling you on this Mitch Jeter less than kicking points square, because I know you're a Notre Dame guy. And shit, I root for them as well. I really do. But today, I'm not seeing Mitch Jeter kicking too many field goals or kicking too many points. This kid has had the yips all year. He's been hurt, the majority of the season. That's been a major factor of it. But we saw last night how tough it is, to kick a fucking football, especially for these college kids. I mean, especially when your coach puts you right in front of the camera and talks to you for a minute and gets in your heads, like the fucking Texas coach did yesterday, like a bozo to Bert Auburn, bless his heart. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Maybe we won't see, Coach Freeman do that to Mitch Jeter today, but Mitch Jeter's been getting a lot of attention on the broadcast because he's been really struggling so far this season, Jovan. And the injuries have been the major factor of it. And now people are saying he's healthy and he's coming off a good game finally against Indiana. And that's a great story. That's awesome. I'm not rooting against the kid in life just tonight on Prize Picks so I can make some coins. Number one, I think there'll be some times in this game where it's very close and you see both teams going for it late when they're trying to pull ahead. And number two, Mitch Jeter's been banged up and sure, he's coming off a great game, but do you really think Notre Dame relies on Mitch Jeter today to impact the game heavily? In my opinion, I think you see maybe Riley Leonard run the ball a little bit on fourth down here. Maybe that helps out your Prize Pick square that everybody's tailing today. I think they maybe go for it a couple more times than people expect. And although Mitch Jeter had a good game against Indiana, I wouldn't say that means he's fully back. Okay, if I was Coach Freeman, I would tread very lightly, trotting out Mitch Jeter out there, and I have the under in the game. Okay, so this correlates with that. And this square is one of the most popular squares on Prize Picks, and it got bumped down from 6.5 to 6. Weird. I'll be fading Mr. Jeter. This one just hits different. Last name Jeter. Getting to fade him again. Come on. Give me a break.
Sneaking some Yankee hate in there anytime you can.
Had to be done.
I respect it.
Had to be done. Yep. Thoughts on Mr. Jeter kicking some field goals today? What do you think?
I mean, I feel like that would be probably pretty counterintuitive to your under, but maybe they're scoring touchdowns and that's it.
Yeah.
I would not hate that.
Or maybe it's, Wake Forest VT meme of Frank Beamer getting held up going to overtime 0-0.
Yeah.
No points.
Could be
no points. Yeah. But you're right. I'm not seeing many points in this game, but I do think we see the Irish go for it a time or two in this one, especially when it's tied up late. I've already seen this game being tied after halftime. It's going to be a good one. All right.
I'm in.
Let's go to your Prize Pick squares. What are you crafting up over there? You've been red hot. Let's give you the floor here. 2 squares. Chat, listen up. All right. Javon's talking.
Yeah. So just like yesterday, keeping the already POD squares that everybody knows about, off to the side because we already know we're sweating Riley Leonard rushing yards. I think all of us are already doing that at various numbers for a lot of coins. So we're going with that in the Sugar Bowl, of course. But POD for the Gator Bowl, I'm taking a shot on Henry Beeline to be the guy today. So like I said, he's got a little Anthony Richardson in him. So, I mean, game scripts, even if they do get killed, is clearly on our side with them as 17-point dogs. He's going to take his fair share of shots against this defense, and I think they're going to work. Ole Miss defense, they scare me with the pressure they're going to get up the middle, but how you slow down a good pass rush, the threat to run, which he can kind of do. Doesn't directly correlate to the square, but I'm saying it'll open up the big shots against that defense. And again, they're 17-point dogs. Game script for that only helps, just like with Dylan Gabriel when he was getting absolutely killed yesterday, which wasn't the plan, but got us there anyway. So taking Henry Beeline, and then I will go to CBB for a square. You have eyes on this Humacrow square, Krabs?
Honestly, no. I'm not seeing that square. Let me pull it up.
Take a look. Take a
I'm
look at
assuming
that
it's
one.
very red.
Take a peep at that one.
I mean, yeah. Has he hit one? Has he had a game where he cashes more than 1-3 in a game all season?
I mean, he's got a couple, yeah.
Couple. It's been a while.
He's their corner sitter. It's like he only is there to shoot threes. I think he's taken 4 non-3-point shots all season, 5 non-3-point shots all season. So like in all of these games that he's been red, I mean, all of his shots except for one have come from 3. So like this is his job against Oregon tonight. Great game too, which we can talk about in a little bit. But guys like this, when they play Oregon, because they're tough in the paint, they're one of the best paint defenses in all the power conferences so far this year. So tough in the paint. They have a defender that's going to stretch the floor. So these spot up shooters, whether it's been Alabama or UCLA, they stuck to the same guys whenever they need a bucket and they're willing to get a bucket. Obviously, the volume doesn't have to be crazy for him because you have a couple shooters that can get the job done, but for Illinois, but these spot up shooters have been doing the job. So I think it does make sense to get invested while it's up, not just because it's a super red chart, but in a game where I see points, in a game where the matchup's kind of tougher for Illinois to get to the rim, you rely on your 3-point shooters a lot more. There's a guy that's on the floor strictly to do just that. So I would be taking him because the chart looks odd. The matchup is great. Get involved.
Chad, if you're as much of a college basketball fan as me and Jovan are up here, you could pair that square with Lucille Patterson, more than 1.5 3-pointers made for Minnesota today against Purdue, coming off a goose egg. He's got 2 Shugs bagels in his last 3 games, Jovan.
Wow.
He went to Shugs and got
Shugs.
2. He got 2 to go. 2 bagel Sammys to go in his last 3 games. So I think that's a pretty good square as well. But gosh, man, that's a great find. Ben Humrichris. Is that how you say his last name?
I think you say Humacrow.
Humacrow?
Yeah,
Sure.
I've heard them say it 5 different ways when I've been watching Illinois.
Yeah,
but I think that's it.
You'd have to watch you'd have to go hunt down the student, the kid who covers the team, the student who is the only one who actually knows the pronunciation, if you want to figure out how to actually say his name. But Ben Humacrow, we'll go with that for now. I'll try to say his name a different way every time. More than 1.5 3-pointers made. Okay, Jovan. Very read out chart. Chad, I know we didn't flash the square. We probably will later when we get the prize picks, but he has not had more than 1 3 in each of his last 5 games. Completely read it out chart.
Yeah,
all right.
He's very consistent. He's in those games 1 for 4, 1 for 3, 1 for 4, 1 for 5, 1 for 9. Spike volume.
I mean, the volume is more than there. Like, what are we?
And again, in those games, he's only taken those have been all of his shots, except for
he doesn't do anything else.
He got a layup against Tennessee, so he's only in the game to do that and defend, of course. But when he's in these big games too, I mean, the good part is he's going to be on the floor. Like they played Tennessee, they played Arkansas, they played Wisconsin, they played Alabama, 4 ranked teams. The only game he had less than 30 minutes, he had 26 and 29 against Wisconsin and Arkansas. So he's going to be on the floor. He's not like not a guy where he's not going to be out there sitting the bench and you're wondering the hell is going on.
Sure. All right. For better or for worse, he's going to be shooting threes. I don't know why coach keeps letting him shoot them. Looking at his track record of late, but let's hope he's got one more game of jacking and maybe he hits more than 1 tonight. A couple things from chat, Jovan. You mind if I ask you the most annoying question of all time today that you're going to hear?
Yes. The answer is yes, because I know what it is.
Yeah, you'd still play at 46.5?
I would. Okay. I mean, yeah, that took the demon at 59.5. Anytime. Right. I'll say this because I said this on Twitter too. I think somebody asked me the same question. Because quarterback sacks count as quarterback rushing yards, it counts negative yards in college. I will never take a quarterback's rushing yards that I do not think can go far beyond that number. So I don't want to be taking Riley Leonard's rushing yards at 34.5. I think he's going to get 40 because sacks count. It's I want to take it if I think he can get 80.
Yeah. Shit, 100.
Yeah. Whatever he wants. Do what you want. Do what you need.
Great. Yeah. I knew that would get a good laugh out of you. Hilarious. A couple other things from chats. Going to make sure you guys are, your comments, your thoughts, your concerns are getting addressed here. Seen a couple TNT 2-piece requests. So I don't know if that's something, Jovan, you want to get involved with today. If it is, it probably cuts into our CBB time. So maybe chat decides. Would you guys rather have more CBB talk? We talk about more of these college basketball games on today, or would you rather have a TNT two-piece on Prize Picks? We'll let you guys decide in the chat. Because although it's not a Tuesday, I do believe there are 2 TNT games in the NBA.
I know there's at least one, because I was thinking about a play on the books for one of them.
Okay. Couple other things. And yeah, guys, sorry, I do have the sniffles right now, but we're going to be okay. We're powering through. I just apologize if you guys hear any sniffling. Got something on the plane the other day, but James Leon coming in, dropping a resub, 33 months, tier 1. BTL stays paying, tailed Stovall, Scat receiving yards, Golden, Gabriel passing yards. Can't wait to see what 25 has. Let's go, fellas. Let's go, James. Let's fucking go, James. Not only is he staying tapped, he's tailing responsibly, and he's coming back in, giving his thanks. You don't see that very often, right? Usually people, they tail and they run away, they cash, and you don't hear from them again. James, we appreciate you. Thank you for tailing. Thank you for trusting. Okay?
Yeah.
Dave Martinez Burner coming in, resubbing as well. He says CBB. He really wants some CBB. Jovan, thoughts on what you'd rather do?
We can do both. We got time.
Okay. All right. Durkee coming in, resubbing as well. Love to see it. What's up, Adam, in the chat? We got Bookit with Chew in the chat as well. W's, gents. Let's keep moving and grooving. That is the Sharp Reports. Took us a second today to go over all the plays, but Jovan, great work. And let's hope you stay hot with the Prize Pick squares, my man. Knock on wood. Okay?
Be huge.
Keep killing it. And guys, like Jovan said in the beginning, make sure you check out the squares he's tweeting, his POD squares for the bowl games. Do not let those plays get swept. Okay?
Yeah, I'll be waiting on the graphic, and then Dylan's going to be on the feed.
I was going to say, you want to give the people who are in here, the OGs, a sneak peek for the Duke game? It's that Beelan square?
It's that Beelan passing yard square.
Awesome.
Great.
Dubs, chat, lock that in now before it gets bumped. You know it's about to get bumped. Okay?
I think it already has. Yards. Could be on the way up. That'd be huge.
Garrett, yes. Riley Leonard, more than rush yards is a great play. Money Habits, good to see you. All right, guys. Let's get into it. Goodsy, why don't we get to some CBB talk, and I will power through and skip through the games that I don't love. But Jovan, please let me know if I end up, passing by one that you're looking to take, maybe. But let me throw out some games. If you like them, let me know. If you don't, you can throw them right back. But a bunch of sharp angles in CBB today. Over 60 games, a bunch of games with short spreads, Jovan. So there's got to be money to be made in college basketball today. I think Delaware is a decent look on the road, down from 6 to 5.5. Probably don't love it enough to play, but thought that was a decent look early on. I thought Southern Miss plus 11 down from plus 13.5 against JMU, who seems to be a shell themselves this season, Jovan, after they lost their coach and Fat Edwards to Louisville. That team is not the same old team, right? Vanderbilt, obviously, that's where the coach went from last year, and this program is I always say don't fade JMU. It doesn't matter who's the coach or what sport it is, but I'd say you might be able to get in a couple more fades on the Dukes right now, at least in college basketball, Jovan. And Southern Miss, they got off to a terrible start this season, but we know they're a little bit of a better team and program than they've showed, and they're coming off of back-to-back wins. I would not mind a play on Southern Miss on the spread, plus 11 down from plus 13.
Wouldn't hate that one bit. Not one bit at all.
Any early games before I get into some of these other 7 p.m. and later on ones? Anything I'm missing that you liked?
Yeah, I don't have too much early.
Probably not.
I got my eyes on some later games.
Good. Let me scroll through. There are a ton of games today, chat. I'm not taking the Oakland bait. I don't know if you saw that game, Milwaukee versus Oakland, Jovan, but Oakland opened up short fave. Now we're seeing Milwaukee on the road, actually a minus 1.5 point fave. And Oakland's been terrible, but I'm not falling for it again, man. I've seen this movie before. Not betting Oakland here. Can't do it.
Fair.
Fake sharp. What else, chat? A bunch of these plays caught my eye. Georgia State against South Alabama. Now, this is one I might play. You got Georgia State coming in. They haven't won a game in a month. They're terrible. They haven't won a game since they scheduled a bunch of fake games before the season against these D2 squads, Jovan. South Alabama comes in, winning 4 of their last 5. They're on fuego. What do we know about this conference? What do we know about these two teams? We know that Georgia State, in my opinion, typically a very scrappy, solid team at home at least. And they've actually had South Alabama's number, Jovan, in recent years. They've won 4 of the last 5 matchups. And I wouldn't be shocked if Georgia State gets back on track here. And these are two teams going in different directions. but I kind of want to take a stab at Georgia State here, down from +7 to +4.5 at home in the midst of this losing streak against a red-hot South Alabama team that's been a wagon at home, but on the road, they are fadeable.
I
thought that was a really sharp spot.
I could
It's a really
be
sharp
so
spot.
convinced on that.
But people are betting it on Pickett. What are we doing? I'm surprised to see that. Some spread bets there on Pickett's. Alumni?
Like 400 bets.
Yeah. Okay. I do like Georgia State today, guys. One of my favorite plays today in the mid-majors. I don't know if anybody else caught that game, but definitely liking them. Definitely liking them. Any thoughts on Northwestern Penn State? That game's on Peacock. Solid game.
Solid game. I don't know. It looks a little odd. I know Penn State's at home, but 4.5 looks a little fat for what they've. I don't know. Both these teams have been doing. Frankly, I think Penn State. You look at their resume and you just kind of assume they're very overrated. So this would seem like a spot where like one of the few road teams, I guess, could have a shot in opening conference play. I guess technically not opening for the Big Ten, but you get the point. I don't know. It feels like a lot of respect.
Yeah. Maybe it is Penn State. And they did open up -5.5 as well. I don't love it.
A fat opener, I would think.
Yeah, I don't love it, but I see it and I agree. I would lean Penn State there. Arkansas State against ODU. I think this is one of those basketball brain spots. I don't think the books have still adjusted to how good Arkansas State is as a mid-major, Jovan. They just keep winning. And recently they've even been covering as well. They weren't covering early on this season. They were just winning. Now they're winning and beating the crap out of teams. And I think you could probably still get in a couple bets on Arkansas State here. They're playing ODU, who's coming off of 4 straight covers after an abysmal start to their season. Jovan, this could be a spot to fade ODU here at home and back a much more talented Arkansas State squad here, up from -11 to -12.5.
Hey, you know I'm always down to fade ODU. I mean,
They're
I wouldn't
bad.
I wouldn't say they're sharp in this game. I don't know, but whenever
They're always fake sharp, dude.
They're always fake sharp. Every sport, football and basketball, they are the thorn inside of all sharp bettors.
I agree. What else? There was a bunch of games coming up here. I think Towson might be fake sharp, guys, against UNC Wilmington. And what have I taught you guys about UNC Wilmington? Anybody in the chat want to raise their hand and answer? Well, I'll go ahead and give it to you for you. Do not fade that team, okay? Because they cover damn near every game. It's so annoying. They're a covering machine. And look at that, Jovan, 8-3 this year against the spread. Once again, if you just bet that team every game,
you're good.
You're rich. You are rich. Do not fade UNC Dub ever, especially at home. And Towson might be fake sharp here. I think they've been overperforming because their coach is really good, but their roster is really bad. I've watched a couple of games. They're not good. And I'd love to say otherwise because I low-key root for them a little bit. Baltimore team. What about Memphis and FAU? Here's a real game I'll throw at you, Jovan. Memphis laying 3.5. Is this a game Penny Hardaway wins? Or do they blow it to FAU, who I don't think's played a game in 2 weeks? So they're going to be rusty, but they've also had 2 weeks to prep for the Tigers in this spot.
Yeah, and just like the Cal game last night, you know what the, I guess, remedy is for rust? Teams that run fast in transition and can get to the rim and or the free throw line pretty much at will, which is probably going to happen on both sides in this game. I know this is not the Dusty May FAU team, but they still, I guess, match up pretty similarly. Personnel is relatively similar. So, like, they're going to play the same kind of style of ball. They're going to match Memphis. So, as simple as it might seem, probably getting points in this game. And I'll probably be getting to the counter with that. But lean FAU, of course, this opening conference games where Penny's a short favorite on the road. Don't like to get involved with his side. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean, I like FAU. I want to bet them. I know they lost coach. I know they lost best players, right? But they're barely hovering over 500 right now after getting, their team is depleted. And they welcome in a 10-3 ranked Memphis team. And I know they've had a couple losses recently, right? Finally, but it's got to be the FAU Owls, and I could see that over as well. The total's up 4 points. Love to see that. I know people are betting here, as you can see on the bottom, but that's a lot of movement for a total that's already probably kind of high.
Not a soul is going to be on that under, so I'm not too shocked that you're getting to move up.
That's facts. Yeah, that's kind of a square over, but you won't see me on the other side or telling you to take the under. No chance.
Yeah.
Wow, this might be my favorite comment or subby from today. We got Jason0922 coming in, resubbing for 25 months. Love to see that. W. Jason, He said, thanks for the NFL fantasy preview. Chuba, BTJ, Godwin, and CD, they all carried me to the title. Yeah, if you listen to that pod, you probably are in your championship or you might have already won it. Straight up. A couple other things that top of mind were talked about. Well, Brandon Aubrey was pretty fucking good, especially early on this season. Imagine if Dak Prescott was still their QB. He'd be the number one kicker in fantasy, not the guy on the Steelers probably. And he still balled out this year and was a great, player in fantasy. God, there's somebody else that I was missing that I just had top of mind. It was talked about a ton. Oh, Saquon Barkley. How could I forget that Jovan was screaming from the mountaintops of saying, draft him, draft him, draft him. He's a league winner. Well, if you drafted him, you probably won your league. So, yes, Jason, great call. That was a really good pod on the YouTube page. Make sure you guys are subbed up on the YouTube and have the notice turned on as well. Okay? Won my ship with Jaden, Saquon, Chuba, BTJ, and Bucky, Skywalker Captain says. Love to hear that, my man. Hell yeah.
Kind of crazy. I saw a tweet today. Wide receiver 1 over the fantasy playoffs is Brian Thomas.
Okay.
So, I know we did that segment where it was like, what guy is going to be the guy that wins you fantasy championships? And I said Brian Thomas. And crazy enough, we are here. I know a lot of the championship rosters have BTJ up there.
Number 1. Unbelievable. Great call. I mean, yeah, you hit the nail on the head with him this season. He was unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, well, we could talk NFL and how we were right all day. Let's lock back in here to college basketball and finish up so we can get to the TNT 2 piece in a little bit. Jovan, I might play FAU. Do you like that over enough where you think I should switch and just tail that? Or you go with FAU?
Yeah, the over, I mean, I do, but the over is not really like a Krabs play.
Okay.
Kind of feels wrong. Kind of feels wrong getting you on that instead.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the earth might explode if I take that over. W. Turner Mac, appreciate you, Beast. Yeah, Johnny Smith, another great call from Jovan. I mean, we had 10 or 15 great calls for fantasy. Absolutely killed it. Absolutely killed it with that fantasy pod. Make sure you guys tune in for next year's. Okay? Jovan, I'm scrolling through, making sure we're covering all of our bases here. I do not want to let that Minnesota +5 play get swept against Purdue. I will remind the people in chat who might not have been in here earlier, my favorite play today, Minnesota +5.5. Not Minnesota -9.5 tomorrow in the Duke's Mayo Bowl against the Hokies, although I do like that. I'm talking about Minnesota tonight against Purdue. Fade Purdue. Plain and simple. Okay? And yes, there is a Surge stream later today, so get hype. We got Trent hosting Surge right after this. Okay, W's. Jovan, Rutgers, Indiana. I don't have anything in that game, but, one of the better games of the day.
Yeah, that's a tough one because, everything in me just wants to take Rutgers. I know defensively they've been absolutely horrendous, which is why, I know Indiana gets these totals too, but I would have told you this last year that we're getting Rutgers at Indiana and a total of 157.5, you probably would have said I was drunk, but
yep.
We're seeing that this year, and their offense has been great. Just in my gut, this kind of feels like a punch in the mouth moment to Indiana. They're kind of getting themselves together. They've been playing pretty decent ball, rolling into Big Ten play, official Big Ten play. Now you get a really young team at home, so it kind of feels like this should be the game where they get it all together and put together a complete performance. I just don't know that I see it happening. So I kind of lean Rutgers there. Maybe you get a Dylan Harper legacy game.
Okay. Somebody brought up that Maryland-Washington game earlier, and I know we were joking about Gooch saying it's Washington, but I do think it is probably Washington in this game. Could this be maybe the first time where we see Maryland's big man, who's been a stud this season, the freshman, struggle a little bit against great Osabar? I think it is. I think this is the first time where the Terps struggle on the interior. We know Julian Reese isn't doing shit in the paint. That guy's softer than tissue paper. But they have an actual good center now at Maryland, and I do think this could be the first time where he does struggle a little bit against great Osabar for Washington on the roads, where we know the Terps do not play as well. They've sneakily been off to a great start. They're close to being ranked. This is the perfect time to fade this team and take Washington here at home, in my opinion. What do you think?
Funny you say that, Krabs, about the matchup that we're going to get in the paint today, because you know who is not going to be in the paint and is probably going to pick up some of the slack. One of your favorite players of all time, Mr. Rodney Rice.
Okay. Dude.
Want to take him on Prize Picks today?
No, I don't want to take him. What are you, crazy?
I want to get involved.
No.
I want to get
Rodney
involved.
Rice?
Rodney Rice goated.
He's got an interesting looking point square up there right now.
He does. He also has a 3-point square. That's a little odd, I guess, but makes sense, especially being that I guess one of the only times you can say there's been an equal or better matchup in the paint than what you're going to get tonight for Derek Queen and really the whole front court by example is Purdue. And you know what happened in that game, Krabs? We got Rodney Rice with 3 threes and 13 points, one of his better outputs of the season. I think it was his best one against an actual team, not named St. Francis, PA.
Well, yeah, he's pretty lazy. That's why he left VT. So he just hangs around the 3-point arc and shoots threes. So if this is a spot where they're going to be open on the arc and maybe they eliminate Queen's effectiveness on the interior, sure, maybe it is Rodney Rice jacking threes. We know he's not hustling to get to the rack. Sure.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Kind of fits him. Kind of fits him well.
Might as well just take the 3 square. Okay. I could be convinced. And I see some points in that game anyways, all jokes aside. So if you're back in Rodney Rice, you guys know I probably don't really care for that guy because he left the Hokies. I think it's still a pretty darn good look, and I'll put my biases to the side there. If you end up locking that in, let me know.
I'm definitely locking that in.
I like the over in that game. Okay. Are you taking his points or are you taking his threes?
Probably take both. Spray him across a couple lineups. Say probably like his threes better because I feel like he's got to get his threes, or most likely path to him getting his points is his threes. So I think it'll start there.
Do you like anything in that Illinois-Oregon game? That is a top 25 matchup.
Yeah, it's an odd one. I really want to take Illinois. I just can't really get there because, again, like it's going to be tougher in the paint for them, which is fine because they have a cast of shooters, not just the spot up, role player guys. But I don't even know how you're supposed to officially say the dude's name, Yakakonis or whatever it is, who's just an absolute sniper, super aggressive, and he's going to put pressure on every on-ball defender for Oregon and make life really, really tough. But with them going on the road in this first time it's a weird, I guess, new Big Ten game, I hate taking teams in these situations. Like I hated doing it in football and I tried to avoid it, and I even tried taking the West Coast or East Coast teams, whichever one fit. Maybe this is a spot with Oregon. I just don't know that I can get myself to do it.
Yeah. I hate fading Oregon. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, I do too. They just find ways. I mean, they're always incredibly coached, of course, but just a gritty team. They put together stops when you need it, and they're playing a team that, I don't know, when everything goes wrong, like they're still relatively young, so it's hard to trust them on the road in a game like this.
I think Hoove TV is a Illinois fan, I believe, in chat. He says it's our first real road game, so I don't feel like that line is that sus. I mean, that's fair. And I feel like Illinois doesn't always get line respect, at least on the road. So I'd still say I lean the Ducks, but I'm probably not going to play it. Okay. Any other college basketball plays, games, chat that you guys want us to talk about? Now is the time. Last call. Jovan, any plays, games, angles you want to talk about before we move on to NBA?
I think it might be Hawaii on the island, Krabs.
Late night
on the island. Finally, where you buy, I guess, kind of low, but UCSB always dominates them and gives them a ton of trouble, whether they play them on the island or really anywhere else. I think now they're UCSB. I mean, this year too, have been kind of peeping their lines a little bit. I feel like they always get talked about in a sharp spot. I just feel like the lines makers have not really adjusted to the fact that this is not the same team that we've seen for the past couple of years, and they're not very good. In Hawaii, I think this is one of their last games that they've been chilling on the island for a while, really for a couple weeks since the break, because teams have been coming there for tournaments and whatnot. Get one before you go. I think that's a team that's been thorn in your side for a bit.
Yep. They've lost 5 games in a row to the Gauchos. Got to respect it. Right? Look at everybody betting on Hawaii today, though. I feel like people just bet on Hawaii blindly.
Yeah, it's Hawaii on the island. Short favorite. Of course you're betting on it.
I know, but the Gauchos, I mean, you're right. This is not Mima and Peepaw's Gauchos. Don't get me wrong. It's not. But shit, man, I don't know if I can buy low. I don't know if I can fade the Gauchos who've lost 4 of their last 5 games on the rack.
It's fair.
Do I love that Hawaii hasn't beaten them in 6 years? Yes, 100%. I do. Probably not enough to play for me. Another interesting game, I'd say. I mean, Loyola Marymount, that spread down from 5.5, 6 to 3.5 now against the Beavers, who have won 4 of their last 5 games, but we know they're not that good. It's got to be Loyola Marymount late night on the spread.
I mean, it could. I don't even know if I have it in me to fade Oregon State. I know they've faded a little bit, I guess, recently. I think they've not covered 3 in a row. But before that, I don't know if they didn't cover a game all year heading into the last couple of weeks. Yeah, they're perfect ATS, which is crazy. I don't know. It feels like maybe a little obvious of a spot to do it, but you definitely will not be seeing me anywhere near taking Oregon State.
Okay. Somebody in chat said Longwoods or Presbyterian. What play do I like in that game? I mean, looking at the spreads, I'd say I lean Presbyterian, but Presbyterian is fake sharp a lot, and Longwood wins games, so I would not bet that game. I'd even say you probably just take Longwood on the ML. All right. No, I'm not on Oakland, LMNG. That is a fake sharp play, in my opinion. Fake sharp. All right. Jovan, it's about that time. Why don't we go talk about some NBA and see if we can maybe get a TNT 2-piece up and moving for today. We got 2 good games on TNT tonight. We got the Celtics. We got the T-Wolves facing off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And then we've got Philly and Golden State. Sure. All right. 2 pretty good games today, especially that first one. Let's look at the game, as a whole before we dive into the prize pick squares. Totals down in this one from 221 to 219. Spread has not moved much, assuming people are all betting on Boston in this game, considering Minnesota's struggles, overall this season. But it's still a Minnesota team that was really good last year, went on a run, and now they're getting 4.5 points at home. So, Jovan, what are your thoughts on this game overall before we pick out a square that we like?
Well, so I'm taking the T-Wolves in this game.
Okay, good.
So that's where it all starts. Yeah, I think.
So then we're going to take a T-Wolf probably today. All right.
Ideally, yeah. I think they match up pretty well against the Celtics because, I don't know, the Celtics shoot a lot of threes, play great defense. That's their thing. But T-Wolves take nearly as many threes. And when they've played teams with better defenses, weirdly, that's when they've showed up shooting those threes. So it kind of feels like the perfect time to do it.
Could this be a square up for Kitch and just take Anthony Edwards and go about your day game?
I was not expecting to hear that from you today, Krabs.
And take a peep at his chart, though, for his points.
Wow, it just might be.
That interests me. Obviously, Jaden McBuckets, a.k.a. Jaden McDaniels. He's got a 9.5 point square up there. That interests me.
I mean, realistically, I think you're going to be trading. That's not a hot take saying it when the Celtics are involved, but if we're trading buckets, trading threes, you're going up against the back-to-back champion Celtics. I don't know how they're winning this game, recovering this game without Ant Edwards dropping 30.
What about Rudy Gobert? Points or rebounds? He's got some high-ass points or rebound squares. Looking like he might get a double-double today.
I don't know if I can get myself to put coin on Rudy, man.
Okay. Chat, what do you guys like better, Anthony Edwards or more of a random McGee type angle here, going with a guy like Jaden McDaniels? I got no qualms going with Anthony Edwards, Jovan, as long as in the next game we go with a nastier square.
We can make that happen.
Which I feel like will not be an issue. I don't mind tailing Ant today. Ant talked about playing the Celtics. He gets up for these games. Take Ant. I wish it was that easy betting Fat Girls all the time, but in this case, we will.
Could be.
Hopefully today it is.
We're getting the Celtics on national TV. I mean, you at least know he's going to be chucking. If he shoots Torday, this is another level TV equation, of course, but
we'll tip cap.
Feel pretty confident the volume's going to be there.
Okay. Ant thrives on national TV. Let's go Shark Lark. It is with NBA. It's square. That's why you hate it, Krabs. God damn it, Fat Girls. You're right. Son of a gun. 76ers Warriors, Jovan. What do you like about that game? The spread is pretty much holding. Maybe it's moved from -2.5 to -3 for Golden State. Total's dropped about 3 points in this one. Thoughts?
Yeah, so this is one I don't really know what to do with because I was looking at it and I was like, maybe we'll not for this entry specifically, but I remembered last night Maxey sold the whole world because Paul George was the guy, which it feels like it happens every single time people take Maxey when Embiid's out and there's no other option. Nobody thinks it's going to be Paul George, and it ends up being Paul George, and Maxey bettors are in piss. Then he hooked under yesterday, but now Embiid is back, I believe, tonight. So that throws a wrench into a lot of things as far as the squares for this games go.
Embiid is back. Golden State's lost 4 of 5, and the Warriors are kept in steam. Interesting. Kind of makes me like the Warriors, no?
Could be. Taking
like the Warriors.
These squares up here.
Wiggins coming off a couple bad games. You got Dennis Schroeder with no profile picture up there for the Warriors. He's got a Reddit out point square, and it's really gross. You should go look at that one. That's crazy. Maybe it's Dennis Schroeder legacy game.
Could it be a Paul George fade after 30 points last night?
It definitely could be. Looking at Steph squares right now. God, he's coming off a terrible game too. Trace Jackson Davis. He's been balling out. That's crazy. He looks like he's turned out to be a pretty darn good NBA player. Let me go look at Philly squares. Because you mentioned you might want to fade Paul George, right?
Yeah. I will say just Embiid's back into the fold. Maxey sold everybody last night. I feel like every time I've seen this Embiid 1.5 3-point square, when he's coming back after resting on a back-to-back, it's turned green. So, that could be good for him, not good for Paul George coming off his legacy game last night. You could spin it a bunch of different ways, but
yeah, after a 30 Berg against the Kings, I certainly wouldn't mind pushing that less than button in a game that I like the under in. Would you rather take Paul George less than 16.5 points? Or would you rather take Dennis Schroeder more than 12.5 points? I'm assuming the former.
I would definitely rather take something Sixers.
Why?
Whether it's a PG fade or Embiid backing or, God forbid, even a Maxey backing. Wouldn't that be hilarious if after Maxey sold everybody when it was just him and PG, he went off today and cashed actual people betting his more thans when everybody's playing?
Funny enough for me to look up his squares right now. Let's take a peek.
Look, I assume they're probably going to be a little lower. Or not probably. They're going to be a little lower.
I don't know if I could do it, man. I think especially with an Anthony Edwards square up in there, I think we got to get nasty and take a less than.
It could so be Paul George.
And we just take that PG less than points and Edwards more than points. They cancel out, one square, one sharp, and we cash.
Amen.
Any qualms?
No qualms.
Not one? Any qualms from
Not
chat? Good. Yeah, last call, chat. If you guys got squares that you're liking, looks like Shark Clark thinks Anthony Wiggins is going to clamp up Paul George. I love it. Yeah. Let's hope you're right. I can see it. Richie Parlay said Steph only shows up on Christmas and when Krabs fades him in Paris. Yeah, people forget about that. Should have gotten a thank you card from Stephen Curry fading him in that game when I think he did not miss a shot. Crazy. Here's the daily Seaburnett square or sharp square coming in hot. Krabs, take a look at Brook Lopez points. I think I saw that lurking on the popular tab. Oh, yeah, there it is. Whoa. Yeah. Hey, now. Definitely down to take that less than today. That's for sure. But yeah, we'll keep it simple for the TNT two-piece today, Jovan. Anthony Edwards, more than 25.5 points, and Paul George, less than 16.5 points. I'm putting $200 on it, and I'll meet you at the cash counter.
Let's
Sound
go.
good?
Sounds great.
Cool. You guys want the link to that puppy, or are you able to lock in a toothpaste? I'll be nice. I'll drop the link. Wow. There you go, chat. In the Twitch link or Twitch chat. Yep. It's good karma. There's a link in the Twitch chat. All right. If you guys can't see it, if you're watching on YouTube, you got to make your way over to Twitch anyways for the squad ride here in a moment. So join the Twitch chat at Bookit Sports and click on that link if you want to tap. Okay? Dubs. Jovan, before we move on to the squad rides, we have a little bit more than 5 minutes left. We'd love to spend plenty of time making sure we craft up a winner there, first one of the year. Any other plays or angles, sports, anything you want to talk about or address before we move on to the most important part of our lives?
I don't think so. I wish I had maybe a little more on the ice because we got a handful of games there, but I really don't today.
You're on which over again? Remind the people.
Sabres Avs over.
Okay. I like that Carolina, Florida under. You want to give the peeps one more play on the ice that you're feeling? I feel like they're going to start begging for it.
Just from like looking at the games, and I really didn't get any further. I don't know if I'll play them, but Utah has been absolutely terrible, god-awful, and they're catching steam and favorites on the road against Calgary. I assume this is going to be a Vladar start because I think Dustin Wolf just had a shutout, or not shutout, but legacy performance, or he gave up one goal, I think, late in the third period. But the fact they're favored and getting steam on the road in Calgary is very, very strange. It's like that. That's, I guess, the line that just stuck out to me on the entire hockey slate.
Yeah, I could more than get down with that. God, they've lost 1 billion games in a row.
They've been awful, dude. Awful.
Oh, I mean, yeah, first
total,
glance, got to be.
That total is rising too. Like it opened at a juicy 5.5, and it's up to 6.5 now. Full goal. You don't get a full goal jump very often, especially when I know it's probably not going to be Wolf in net, but Calgary as a team is coming off of that shutout or near shutout. They dominated the Canucks.
That's weird. And now Utah's catching steam on the roads in the midst of a fat losing streak. Super weird. Rangers shouldn't be favored against Boston, but they are today. From Dead Larry Birds. Let's peep that game, and then we're going to get to the squad ride here, chats. Thoughts on the Rangers at a coin flip pick 'em price, Jovan, after 4 straight losses against the Bruins?
Yeah, I mean, the Rangers suck, but line respect wise, it's not, I would say, too weird to see it out of pick 'em. I just don't want to bet on that team. They're terrible.
Yep. And I know I said the Rangers have lost 4 games in a row, but they've also beaten the Bruins the last 5 times in a row that they played them. So maybe that cancels that out, and that'll probably keep me off of that game. Okay?
Yeah.
They seem to have the Bruins number. All right. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and hop into it. Gootsy, go ahead and run that shit. I want to see that damn train. Let's get to the squad ride. All right, Jovan, I'm going to cut the shit, get right to it. Are you putting the Irish in here or what, man?
No. I feel like we leave them out. We kind of knew what the thoughts were on that game yesterday. Plus, it starts in 2 hours now.
Wow.
It's kind of strange, yeah. So it starts early.
Is that really what you want to do? You want to leave it out?
Yeah. We know we're riding in that game.
All right. Yeah, you already got something you're sweating heavily in that one. Good point. We got Godsynth coming in resubbing. Sure. Godsynth coming in, new year, new green. My goodness. I like that, Godsynth. 22 months. Sure. It was already the squad ride, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. But we're going to do a repoll today and get all these plays.
Putting it in and getting it voted in again. Feels kind of wrong.
Yeah. And like it's an earlier start than it was yesterday, so I'm down to leave it out.
Yeah.
And I think the Dogs might win, so I kind of want to keep it out anyways.
Yeah, I knew you also weren't thrilled about it, so I wasn't going to push the buttons.
I'll squeak it in there. I've tried to bite my tongue today, but I had to get it out. All right. Ooh, Irish up to -1.5. Sure. As soon as I say that, hilarious. All right. Well, we'll leave that game out. Gootsy, please don't kill me. We'll leave that Notre Dame game out. Okay. Can we put Minnesota in CBB against Purdue? Please. Can I get you there? Yeah.
You can.
Good.
You can.
Good. Minnesota +5.5, chat. My favorite play of the day. Okay. Jovan, what's your favorite play today not involving that Irish game?
I would say it's probably that Sabres Avs over.
Okay. Sabres Avs over 6.5 still?
Yeah.
Sure. Did you love my under on the ice? Enough to put it in
your
there?
under. I like your under. I'm down to put that in here.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
At least for now.
Yeah.
See if we find anything else in CBB. But yeah, Carolina, Florida under 5.5 now. It's looking like it's where it's sitting at on every book, which you know what I think about that. That's a good thing. F the CLV. Keep moving down. Go to 5.
Sure.
Carolina and Florida under 5.5, chat. You know, you did mention the T-Wolves. I'd say I lean their spread after hearing you talk about it and looking at it, but I don't know if I love it enough to play. If that's something you want to put in here, we can. I also feel like there might be another CBB play we talked about today that we could probably dig up and put in here as well, or we could keep it as a 3-pace.
I'll say the only reason that the T-Wolves didn't make it on Sharp Report, and I kept Notre Dame up there, even though we know what I'm taking there, is because I think Jaylen Brown is questionable, and so is Chris Stapps. Right. I know Chris Stapps is seeming more like he's going to play, and Jaylen Brown's still up in the air. I just don't want to get caught with any injury situations where I'm buying good news. So that's why they didn't make it up there. So I'm finally leaving them out. I would say we either go to CBB or the Gator Bowl.
Ooh. And you're talking about that over in that Duke game.
Yeah. Nasty play.
I like that play. I like FAU plus 3.5. I like Georgia State and CBB. That might be too nasty to convince, or, you know, probably not even worth putting in the poll. Nobody's going to vote for it. Doing my rounds here, Jovan, through college basketball, making sure nothing's getting swept through the cracks. I like Washington, but not enough to put them in here, Gootsy. Apologies. Yeah, I'd probably say, you know, I need to look into some of these plays a little bit more, like Loyola Marymount, before I can say I want to confidently put that one in here against the Beavers. So maybe we keep it as a 3-piece.
I think we go to the Gator Bowl, Krabs, and make it 4.
You want to put that over in there in the Duke game? I'm not going to tell you now.
I think we do.
I'm not going to tell you now. Let's put it in there. Duke and Ole Miss. Look, the football gods, I've already seen it, Jovan. You're right. Duke's scoring first as well if you're looking for a cheeky play. But there's going to be points in this game, and it's going to be Duke as well, carrying the weight after what fucking Lane Kiffin was doing all this morning. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. All right, Duke, Ole Miss, over 50.5. 4 plays, 4 winners. Sure. Chat, you got 2 minutes. Hurry up, go, go, go. And W's, we got these surge streams starting up right after this, chat, so stick around with us. And please pitch Trent a winner on the stream this afternoon, any sport. All right, you go up there, you give Trent the sell job of a lifetime. He'll listen. All right, prize pick squares, book plays, you name it. As long as it's a green play. Trent wants to hear it. All right, so pitch him a play.
So on edge today.
Yeah, probably. You know, he's only got one thing on his mind, and that's Riley Leonard getting his legs up and moving.
Dude, he's tweeted about, granted, with how much coin's at stake, I get it, but he's tweeted about that square, this game, more than he's tweeted about the goat whale. Crazy.
Yeah, he wants it. He wants it bad. Do you guys ever disagree to an extent where you fade each other? Maybe Jovan does sneakily with some of my plays, but typically when Jovan is, you know, feeling strongly about another play that I disagree with, I at least just stay off of it, is what I end up doing. I usually end up not even playing. But yeah, I don't fade Jovan. And he doesn't piss me off enough with his counters to make me want to fade. And with the stretch he's been on recently, you'd be a crazy person to lock in the other side. Interesting question, Snacks.
Definitely on opposite sides a good bit.
Oh, yeah, every once in a while. Sure.
Yeah.
But typically when I'm seeing you're on a play that I'm on the other side of, I might not be taking it.
Jovan.
Good.
What was that Ravens team total line?
Okay, that's what it was.
For the game. Okay.
We're about to get hook of chewed.
Yeah, just want to let you know.
I bet.
Do you guys think Trent sneakily hedges? I never hear him talk about it. No. He's not a hedge guy. No. Absolutely. And guys, like I said earlier, please pitch Trent a winner on the surge stream today. Bring the energy, bring the plays that are turning green on a Thursday afternoon or night. And Jovan, look at that. Look what play just ended up winning the poll. The over.
Wow.
in the Duke Ole Miss game today. Looks like Chad thinks the football gods might be getting involved in that one as well. Okay.
Hey, speaking of the football gods, I love that we're going to Jacksonville for the first squad ride of the year because you know who plays on that field? The GOAT.
Brian Thomas.
The GOAT of all GOATs.
How can we forget?
Let's go to his home, the house that Brian Thomas built.
Okay. The house that Brian built. Give me a break. All right, chat. Squad ride, the over in this nasty college football game tonight, Duke Ole Miss. Got a feeling that the football gods maybe give Duke a handout or two in this one, maybe put some points up on the board, and Javon's taking their QBs passing yards anyway. So we're in a good spot here, chat. We'll meet you guys at the cash counter. We'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Stick around for the Surge stream right after this. Pitch, trend, and winner, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow.